Hey guys, how are you doing? So there's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while now, and that is weight and food addiction. So if you know me very well, you'll know that I did struggle personally with weight and food addiction when I was younger. And one of the reasons was when I got bullied, and I didn't know at the time what was happening, but I started to eat a lot of food because I didn't know how else to deal with the emotions that were coming up, and I ended up putting on a lot of weight. And then I got into secondary school and I started to try and, sorry, there's a bird there. I started to try and lose weight. So I went on a diet when I left secondary school. I ate healthy during secondary school, but I still had I was still a bit chubby, like not big, but I was still a little bit chubby. So I decided I wanted to lose more weight. So after secondary school, I went on a diet, and that diet eventually turned into an eating disorder. And it was a long road before I fully recovered, and I can say now at 32 years old, well 31, I'll be 32 in August, at this age I have a really healthy relationship with food. And I know in myself when I'm going to eat something because I'm trying to fill myself up in some way, because I'm abandoning myself, or whether I'm eating something because my body needs it and it's nutritious and it's good for me, or it's just a piece of cake and I just fancy eating a piece of cake, but it's not to fill up a hole. And it's taken me a very long time to get to this stage. And when I was going through the eating disorder and recovering from it, I saw a doctor and they put me on CBT course, which is Cognitive Behavioural Therapy course, which was absolutely amazing. And anyone who is going through an eating disorder or weight problems, it can be either way, like really big or really small, like you're losing a lot of weight, you're gaining a lot of weight. It really helps. And one of the other things that's really helped in the last couple of years, because even when I moved to Dubai, I still didn't have a fully healthy relationship with food, because I never got to the root cause of what the issue was. I was always thinking, oh, it's just because I want to be thin and I shouldn't want to be thin, or I want to eat cake and I'm eating too much cake and that's why. I never really dig deep to get to the bottom of the issue. And recently I've been doing a process called Inner Bonding. So over the last 2 years I've been working on doing that process every single day, and my food, like my relationship with food now, is absolutely incredible. So I wanted to share some tips with you that I did, and that really helped me along my journey. So the first one is that having a healthy relationship with food might take a long time. You won't get there overnight because you didn't decide to start using food as a way to fill yourself up overnight. It happened for a reason, and you've been like that for years and years and years. So it's not going to change overnight, but it definitely can change. And one of the things that I would recommend is definitely do the Inner Bonding process. There's a link in my bio to the 6-step process, and it's absolutely amazing. And I realised that what happens when we go to food or we go away from food, we're using it as a way to control something. So when I was younger and I got bullied, I didn't know how to manage that feeling of helplessness and heartbreak over someone being really mean to me. So I used food as a way to control it and also stop them bullying me. I thought, if I have that protection of weight, obviously it wasn't a conscious decision. I didn't think, oh yeah, I need extra weight for them not to bully me. It was a subconscious thing. and it was a protection, and we do it out of protection either way. And as I got older, and when I went on the diet that then eventually turned into an eating disorder, it was the same thing. I was trying to get love, and that's what I was trying to do when I was younger, and I didn't realise it at the time. I was trying to avoid rejection, and both of them, trying to get love and avoid rejection, are coming from a place of fear. So when I had developed the eating disorder, I was coming from a place of, if I'm thin, if I'm a certain weight, or if I look a certain way, then I will get love, and not just love in the way of a partner, but love in the way of attention, approval from other people. It wasn't just about being in a relationship with a partner, it was also about people approving of me, and I felt that I had to be a certain size or look a certain way for people to approve of me, and that was what was driving my weight loss decision. And when I was younger and I gained the weight, that was driving it because I wanted to avoid rejection, and that was what was driving my decision to eat more. So it's all about your intention, and the way you figure out what your intention is when you go to eat something. So when you want to eat a piece of cake, for example, I love cake. When you want to eat a piece of cake, if you're feeling anxious or down or sad in any way, and you reach for that cake when you're feeling that way, I suggest you stop and you ask yourself, okay, where is this coming from? Where is this desire to have this piece of cake coming from? And it might just be coming from a normal place that you want a piece of cake, but a lot of the times it can be coming from a place of emptiness. So for example, you might have had an argument at work, or a disagreement with someone at work, and you felt helpless. You didn't know what to do. It was your boss, and you felt there was no way you could get them to see your point of view, and you felt completely helpless, and you felt lonely because they were attacking you, and you felt heartbroken. All these core feelings that come up when you have a disagreement and conflict and you can't resolve it. And maybe also you were judging yourself, telling yourself you were stupid, and then ignoring those core feelings. And what we do, because we never learn how to deal with those core feelings, we go to food or drink, or it could be anything, it could be any sort of addiction, but I'm focusing on food and drink basically right now. Not drinking alcohol, but just drinking in general, like soda and things. So we go to these things, and it's because we're ignoring our feelings and we're judging ourselves, we're rejecting ourselves and abandoning ourselves in some way. So the first step is, whenever you are reaching out for food or drink, ask yourself why. So always be present in the moment when you're reaching out for food or drink, and ask yourself why. What is the reason behind this? Why do I want this piece of cake, or this pizza, or this salad? You know, it could be salad, for example, because it can also be the other way. You could always want to eat salad because you're judging yourself, calling yourself fat, and you think the only thing that you should be allowed to eat is salad. So it doesn't have to be something unhealthy or something that is viewed as unhealthy. Obviously everything in moderation is healthy, but it could be something that is viewed as extremely healthy, and people look at you and think, oh wow, she's really healthy. But just because you eat a salad does not make you healthy. I know this, it does not make you healthy. It's what is going on inside that determines your health. So your food choices are based on the internal decisions, on the internal intention that you have, and that depends on whether you're judging yourself, if your wounded self is in control, or your loving adult's in control. So number one, always stay present when you are deciding to eat food or have drink or whatever it may be. Always be present and ask yourself why. The second step, I would say, is the thing that really helped me was not judging myself. So it's very, very difficult to not judge ourselves. We do it all the time, but it's that the judgments that come from, oh, the cake is bad, if I eat that piece of cake it's bad, and it's not bad. So it's taking away the judgments from the food as good or bad, because the food is just food. It depends on your intention behind eating the food as to whether it's a good decision or a bad decision. And that's because you might not be making the decision from your highest good, like for your highest good. The decision to eat this thing or drink this thing could be coming from a place of trying to fill yourself up because you're abandoning yourself, or it could be in your highest good to have that. So it's all about not judging yourself and refraining from those judgments. So whenever you feel a judgment come up, it would be a really good idea to get a journal. And over the last year I've been writing down all my self-judgments, and usually the similar ones come up again and again. Once I started writing them down, there was a lot of the same ones coming up again and again and again. And I think that might happen with you as well. But get a journal and write down all the judgments that come up. And it can be about the food you're eating, about your weight, about how you look, about, oh, I'm never going to get a partner if I don't look a certain way, or I'm never going to get a job. It could be, it could be to do with that. So any sort of negative judgments about yourself in relation to the food and weight addiction, write them all down. Because once you start to realise how often you judge yourself and you reflect on how that makes you feel, you realise that it doesn't help you in any way. Our judgments are coming from a place of trying to control us in order to get us to look or be a certain way, to be loved or to get love, or to avoid rejection. So they actually don't help us in any way, and they're not in our highest good. And once you start to read through them and you realise, God, it's that judgment again, it's the same one again, and I feel like crap, excuse my language, again. And you just get bored of it after a while and you just think, go away, I'm not listening to you anymore. So I found that very helpful, writing it down, writing all the self-judgments down as well. And also another side of it is judging other people. So sometimes we judge people as thin, as beautiful and healthy, but they're not. That doesn't mean they're healthy just because they're thin. And it doesn't mean that someone who is has a little bit of an extra fat on their body is unhealthy. That's not true at all. Healthy is about your intentions and where your choices are coming from. And if they're in your highest good, that is what healthy is. So the judgments of other people, write those down as well. That is number 2. I think that would be very helpful. And the last one, number 3, is, like I said at the beginning, it's gonna take a long time to have a healthy relationship with food if right now you really don't have one, like I didn't a few years ago. And like I said, I moved to Dubai 5 years ago, and at that time I still didn't have a fully healthy relationship with food. It's only just over the last 2 to 3 years that I've started to get a healthy relationship and really listen to my body and listen to why I want certain food and why where the choice is coming from, where that desire is coming from. So the third tip is to be very kind and compassionate with yourself, no matter which choice you make. So if you decide to give in to that wounded part of you that wants a piece of cake to fill the hole because you're judging yourself and you're not being very nice to yourself, don't judge that decision if it happens, because that is only going to keep you in the repetitive cycles. Oh my god, I just ate that piece of cake and now I'm fat, or I ate that salad again and I really needed to eat some pizza with cheese on and carbs, you know, that was what my body needed, and I ate that salad and I wasn't being kind to myself. Don't judge that decision, because that will keep you in the cycle of judgment, which is not good at all. So that's the third tip and the final tip that I'm going to give you for weight and health addiction. If you have any questions, just send me a message or comment below, and I'd be really, really happy to help you. But know that you will get through it eventually. It took me a very long time. Like I said, when I was 8 years old, I put on a lot of weight because I was addicted to food. And then when I was between the ages of, I'd say, 16 to 22, I got an eating disorder. So I had a very, very bad relationship with my weight and my body and food, and it was a way to control getting approval and getting love. And that's all it is. That's all weight and food addiction is it's our way to protect ourselves from rejection, to avoid rejection, or to get love, attention and approval. But what we really need to do is give ourselves that love, attention and approval, and that will fill the hole. And we can do that by practicing the 6 steps of inner bonding that are in my bio link, so check it out. And good luck, you'll be fine, you will get there. Embrace the journey, and like I said, if you have any questions, I am here to help, and I would love to help.